What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Fate Strange Fic. This is episode 8, and with me, as always, I have Loose Pick.
Yeah, it was an interesting episode for sure. Also, one interesting Easter egg that was put into this episode in regards to one of the, I guess, the minor characters of the show. I think it was a police officer who's working with Chief Orlando. Uh, I apparently like his conversation with Castor in this episode. He references like this incident in which his mother was killed in a terrorist attack, or a mage terrorist attack, which many people pointed out that it's related to Kiritsugu blowing up the plane from back in Fate Zero.
Yeah, I honestly didn't make that connection, but I guess it's not. That wouldn't be too surprising. I mean, because we already have a character that people are saying is also connected to somebody from Fate Zero. So
Yeah,
um,
which of course
yeah,
is Sigma, which he
yeah.
has a conversation with Assassin after she's been eavesdropping on his conversation with that with his servant. I don't know what servant it is still though. Like he's
Well, I mean, usually he just takes the appearance of Captain Ahab,
yeah,
um,
but
and then some other times is somebody else.
yeah, and apparently Assassin well, she doesn't really 100% know that he was really talking to a servant, but she like it's obviously you can really see from her perspective that he's talking to himself or somebody that's not in the room technically. So
Hmm.
she confronts him about this, and Assassin questions like whether he has any certain faith or believes in God. Sigma says that he doesn't believe in God because of the life that he lived um, and pretty much like his experiences of like being experimented on, like working for an organization that really just doesn't give a damn about him or anybody else in particular. So this pretty much like convinces um, Assassin, I guess in a way to have some form of relation with Sigma in a way, and then and then what's funny is like it almost seems like there's a like almost like this romantic, um, I don't know, hint of a romantic like relationship between the two. I don't know.
I didn't really get that. I just got that. I guess she maybe sympathized with him or
Yeah,
something.
I
Uh,
mean,
but I mean,
Sigma's
his servant does like make some offhand comment about it. So who
yeah,
knows?
supposedly like it might have some, I don't know, like romantic instances. I don't know. It's weird, but uh
I mean, it would be interesting, but I mean, I don't know if there actually is going to be any romance in the story, considering some people who've I guess read the light novel mentioned there. I guess there really isn't any, but
no,
I'm not too sure.
yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
I really doubt that, but we do get to see more of Flat in this episode. One thing about Flat is we've never learned much about his own personal history, even with the two other spin-offs we've seen him in. Like the first time we actually seen Flat in anime form is, of course, his very brief appearance in Fate Apocrypha, and then he becomes like a somewhat of a main supporting character in the what was it? No, the Lord El Malloy, the second series.
Illinois case files.
Yeah, the case files. And now he's like one of the major masters in this fake Holy Grail war. And in the flashback, we show that Flat didn't really have much of a great childhood with his family. Apparently, his parents ended up disowning him, and then Flat had to I guess had to like reimagine his image as being like a happy-go-lucky person in a way. But of course, Waver, of course, saw through this and decides to take him in.
Yeah. So I guess since then he's been like Waver's apprentice. Um, but yeah, I do like that we got a little bit more about Flat in this episode, considering he's been pretty much in the background for the most part.
Yeah,
That basically him and Jack the Ripper in this episode like infiltrate the police headquarters, and basically Flat does this pretty much with the intention of forming an alliance with the police chief. So there's just more alliances being formed, and except this time it's Flat and the police chief,
Yeah.
and he uses like Jack the Ripper uses some like pretty much what we've seen him do before, where he just disguises himself as the I forget her name, the police chief's assistant, but he's not really fooled by it. He's through the disguise, and that's pretty much when Flat reveals himself and reveals his true intentions of like why he's there.
I'm surprised that he's a lot more powerful than took him not.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too is like we haven't really like we've seen some of what Flat can do, I guess, in El Muli case files, but we don't really know exactly like what he's capable of. So he displays some pretty impressive abilities in this episode, where like the police chief summons these familiars, and Flat is able to just pretty much like just get rid of them pretty effortlessly.
He just neutralizes them like instantly.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Maybe it's something that Waver ended up teaching him in the clock tower. It's not really clear, but I was surprised that he was a lot more powerful.
Well, and speaking of Waver, the other thing that I guess also sort of wins the police chief over, convinces him is that he speaks with Waver, and Waver at first he tells him that he's just Elmoy the second, but then he reveals like his real name is Waver Velvet, and I'm sure like maybe his name carries some influence now, considering what he was involved with in the Fourth Holy Grail War.
Yeah.
So, I'm wondering if that maybe just him saying that was able to, like, the police chief like realize like, oh, he's somebody like worthy of respect.
Yeah. So they go over their plan of like about trying to deal with Tsubaki and her servant. They of course they briefly go over Tsubaki's backstory about how Tsubaki's parents ended up experimenting on her, and of course she went into a coma by the time this fake Holy Grail ended up starting, and they I guess they come up with a plan to extract Tsubaki from the hospital. And
didn't they also mention like that her servant is somehow responsible for all of the like pretty much like I guess most everything that's been going on with the fake Holy Grail War?
That could be part of it. I mean, that's their plan, is just to try to get her out of there. Of course,
because like everybody at the end of the episode is just converging on the hospital and trying to like take Tsubaki.
Yeah.
I think, and I guess also because some of them found out where. Well, I think Sigma found out where the Jester is, or where he's been hiding out.
Yeah, and I think a couple other masters and their servants are planning on killing Tsubaki instead of apprehending her. This of course.
I mean, she can't really do much considering she's in a coma, but I mean, we haven't really seen what her servant can do. We've seen a little bit of it, but we haven't actually seen. We don't even really know what her servant is.
Yeah.
So,
so we go to the hospital there. The police chief and the police officer are about to make their move, but then all of a sudden Alcides appears riding on Cerberus to pretty much take matters into his own hands to kill Tsubaki himself.
Yeah. So I guess it's going to be all of them versus Alcides in the next episode.
Yeah, it's honestly, this episode just went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, but it was still an interesting episode in which it focused more on Flat this time. And well, I mean, I really wish we could have learned a little bit more about his backstory. I mean, we just only saw just that one brief flashback of his childhood and him first meeting Waver in the past.
Yeah, it's getting pretty interesting. I mean, we're getting a little bit closer to the end of the season too, and I just feel like this is kind of suffers from some of the same issues, unfortunately, that some of the other spinoffs suffer from. It's just that there's like just way too many characters for us to really keep track of. I mean, it has done a pretty decent job of like trying to focus on each character for the most part. But there's just so many characters, and that's like the other issue with it. But it's going in an interesting direction. I'm kind of curious as to what it's leading up to. But it seems like so far like there's just been two different alliances being formed with Saber, Assassin, Sigma, and now there's alliance with Flat and the police chief. The and then we also briefly cut back to Hamza the Overseer as well, where we find out that he is I don't know if they already revealed it, but he reveals that he's like I guess he's kind of like a cyborg, like he's got a lot of like machine parts.
Yeah, I mean,
but I actually no, I think we did see it earlier.
yeah,
that,
I mean, we see,
like his arm can.
yeah, we saw him fight against, the dead apostle before, but it's
Yeah.
I can't really say he's much of a cyborg. It's just I don't know, like I just don't think like science fiction really fits into the world of sorcery and in the Fate series or the Nasuverse in general.
Yeah, I mean, there's been similar things in like that we've seen with that before, but I mean, yeah, it hasn't. I don't know if it's like fully gone into like sci-fi stuff.
No, I mean, well, the Fate.
Yeah.
What was it? It was what was it that other Fate series? It was Fate Extra that delved into, I guess you could say, somewhat sci-fi-ish with them being in a digital world or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's the idea that they're in a simulation, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I don't
yeah,
know.
aside from that, like, there's not really anything I could think of. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Honestly, like we're already like 2/3 into this show, and we still haven't even gotten to the main meat of the series yet. And I mean, nobody.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem too. Is like there's really, I don't really know if there's really a main villain either, because they're all just sort of they have different reasons for fighting, and there's none of them I could really say
Yeah.
are like, except maybe I don't know, maybe Francesca.
Maybe, but the
but,
thing is, nobody's
yeah.
died in the show yet, and we're bare.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like it's like the Holy Grail War is pretty much a death game, and yeah, there's really been none of that so far. I mean, it's just been more like just two different alliances being formed, and that's
Yeah.
the most of what's really happened. And
I mean,
people like forming different strategies, and that's about it.
yeah, I mean, we've seen servants fight each other, but so far, like I said, nobody's killed each other. We're barely.
Yeah.
We only have like what, a third of the show left. Well, third of the season left. I'm assuming. It's just so far like we're only still at the prologue at this stage.
It just feels like it's just been more setup for things instead of like actually things actually happening for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just more setup, more characters being introduced. Especially considering there's such a large cast of characters, it would be great if we could start, some characters could maybe start dying. So that way, like, there's a lot less characters to focus on. We could focus on the characters that matter, but there's just so many characters now.
Yeah.
So, and I expect there's going to be even more being introduced eventually. But, yeah, but that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.